Hey everyone, welcome to another Age of Mythology Titans campaign video here, and this is going to be sort of a remake on the Odin's Tower Titans campaign level. In my video series, or on my, or series I guess, on my playlist, I sort of showed the easy way to beat this level, and it still took a while. I think it was about a 45-minute game, something on that order. I mentioned that I might come back and do a sort of a brute force method of beating the game, and that's going to be this, which took, I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes, maybe a little bit south of that. But anyway, this is sped up on four times speed, I believe, so that's why everything's moving pretty quickly. I think it's the fastest speed up I've done so far, but I wanted to keep the video time down. I try to keep all of them under 20 minutes or so, and I adjust the speed accordingly, or depending on the game. If it's there's a lot going on, I'll use a little bit of a slower speed, but this one was just so darn long I had to speed it up quite a bit, and you'll probably get the gist of what's going on. So it sort of starts off the same way I did my my other playthrough, if you saw that one, where I'm just trying to get my economy going first, and slowly building up for an attack on green over here. And they come in with a few moderate attacks here. Once they start sending in throwing axemen, it gets a little bit more hectic because you want to sub in some archers to counter them, and that's why I put up the palace and tower to help counteract those throwing axemen. Because in my experience, the Atlanteans aren't great against the Norse because of the Norse counter infantry. The Atlanteans lacked like a axemen or something like that, like a good hard counter to infantry. And Murmios are pretty weak as they sit, so they get shredded pretty easily by throwing axemen. So when the enemy comes in, I usually focus fire my towers and archers and palaces on the throwing axemen, and let the Murmios mop up the rest of the guys, whether it be Huskarls or Jarls or whatever. And I think there we go. I put up more barracks there, but I was trying to grow my economy, so I didn't want to waste the wood on a bunch of barracks that I didn't need. I wouldn't have had the resources to sustain production from them anyway. And I already exhausted that first gold mine there, and that's what really forces you to push out in this level, is when the gold dries up over here. I mean, you could hunker down over here for a while and really build up your economy, and there they used undermine on that wall, so I mean, it was a little bit annoying, but it could have been a lot worse. They could have taken down a whole bunch of buildings later on, so I'm kind of glad they got that out of the way. But anyway, I was saying, once your gold runs out over here, you really need to move out, and it does take a lot of gold to defend, just because I have to keep making archers and Murmios, and I think I got some destroyers going there too to help take down their buildings. And I've said repeatedly, I was just about to attack there, I think. Oh, and then of course I got frozen there, which maybe it's better to happen here when I have my buildings around to shoot, and my barracks around as well. But yeah, the Atlanteans lack in the siege department a little bit. Destroyers are cool, but and fire siphons are great, but you can't get them until the 4th age, and you can't get to the you can't get to the 4th age in this level. So here I'm pushing the attack a little bit, using my destroyers to take out the buildings, and see all those throwing axemen up there. Like, my guys just melt. So I use those destroyers to kind of distract for a little bit while I get that palace transported over here, and sent a villager up to get actually a couple villagers to get some barracks going. So I'm gonna distract with the buildings while I get some more barracks and towers going, and get that wall back home there, just to sort of seal off my my economy. And I guess those destroyers died up ahead, but they did the job. So I got a few buildings up, and now I can defend a little bit more reasonably. And I think, yeah, okay, I'm sending them over to build that town center, and that was a little bit. I remember at the time I was like, they just attacked, so I could probably have a spare minute to be able to put a town center up, but it would be kind of a waste of resources if that got taken out pretty quickly. So here I'm using my guys to distract a little bit, and I'm sending them back to the buildings to fight over there. And they tried to backside that town center there, but and I think there's a ram mixed in there, so I sent guys in to take that out. But sort of leapfrogging my palaces up to defend that town center, because that's really a big boost when you get that town center up for the extra population. Not just for the defenses. I usually try to get town centers for the population, but sort of walling off this area because I know I'm going to need that gold in a little bit. But getting those, like I said, leapfrogging the defenses up so I can fight in this area. And this attack goes a little bit south, but I think I hold on to that palace. Oh no, they took it out. Darn. But anyway, the attack kind of dried up, so I was able to get going. And now that I know they're weak because they just attacked, I can send those Murmios in to take out a few buildings, and I think I leave them in there just to distract for a minute. Oh no, I bring them back. So trying to keep the enemy at bay for a minute or two, just to get some towers up. And once the towers get up, they help clean up those throwing axemen pretty well. But there we go. All the gold has been exhausted in the starting area, so now I have to come up here and get this gold. And now we have a decent distance, so I can get a market going and get some caravans up to get gold, and that'll help. I mean, gold doesn't go bad, so may as well collect it while I can. While my military count isn't too big, I can afford the population to get those caravans going. As you can see, with a couple towers up, it really helps shred those throwing axemen. And getting a few destroyers out, and I think I go into backside them a little bit. If they're attacking from the front, I usually send in a few destroyers to take out a barracks or tower or something like that, just to keep them at bay. And I'm not sure if I got the town center population improvement yet. Usually that's a big boost, especially if you have a few town centers. I think it's what, plus 5 or 10 per town center, so it's an extra couple guys. It really helps. And distracting on one side while my destroyers go to work on the other side. Okay, it looks like the town center upgrade just came in, so it's an extra few guys. Getting a few palaces up there so I can get more destroyers in on them. Just whittling away a little bit, and I know that if I get overrun, I have my strong defenses back by that town center. And luckily, I think I sneak that palace in there just as that town center goes down, and I immediately start building just so I can get the population from there. But I'm really clicking on all cylinders now. I got plenty of food. Gold is on the rise. Moved. Like I said, I got probably 10 caravans going, so that's a good steady income. And so I'm not using any. I think I set those archers in there to take out that first temple. And so here's now where you prepare for the rest of the level. Now that green is pretty much taken out, I put up, I think, all my towers and all my palaces over here. And and if you saw me clicking around those farms there, that's because if you task a villager on an enemy farm, it becomes your own. So I think I did that on a few farms just to have some extras if I needed them. But so here's where you sort of prepare for the rest of the level. I think I put up all my towers and palaces, and I start transporting some towers onto the that little plateau there, and I think that one got taken out by that enemy tower. But start to get a few towers going up there, because in this sort of long way of beating the level, I transport buildings and guys over to the different areas of the different enemy areas, and sort of beat them manually, as opposed to sort of circumventing this in the other way I played, which was sort of the easy way of beating this level. But this is a lot of fun, and a good challenge too, because as soon as you can use the vortex power to get your military over there, and that gets you started. But they're pretty powerful in this level, so I like to get those towers going to sort of supplement the attack and help back up my guys once I get them over there. And I think I built another market there, so now I have a much longer trade route. So that'll boost my gold. Obviously, I'm pretty good on resources here, but I know it looks like I have a lot, but I know I'll need them. So I don't think I spend all of that throughout the game, but in fact, I probably start deleting villagers a little bit later on, just as the resources sort of get out of hand. And so here I try to get a palace going, I usually do them first because I can get destroyers going on buildings. And okay, there I deleted about 6 villagers to free up some population. But that palace didn't last too long. But here, get some more towers going over here against these throwing axemen. They're the only thing that really presents a threat from the Norse. All the rest of them are pretty much melee units. Luckily, they didn't have any ballistas or anything like that. Ballistae, whatever the plural is. So I think I can sneak that palace in over there. Get some destroyers going on those houses. But anyway, trying to get those buildings in close to the palace just to help defend it. Your main concern would be, I guess Huskarls could present a problem, but mainly you want rams show up and then you have problems. So I think there's a ram just came through right there. But anyway, just trying to whittle away at them a little bit, and there I go with the vortex power because I feel like I've got a pretty good base of towers going there. So got the palace through, getting a barracks up, and then as soon as that shoots up, I think I just queue up an entire queue of guys, and just trying to hold the momentum here, just fighting by the towers so that way they they can do sort of the heavy lifting. But my population went from 180 to 100, so it just goes to show how as soon as you come in there, they really swarm on you. So that's why I built all those barracks so that I could transport them over here. Same thing with the towers and palaces. So now I've got a pretty good foothold going, trying to get some destroyer numbers up so I can take out their buildings, all the while keeping an eye on my population as a sort of as a guide to see how well the battle is going. If I see it starting to dip, I know I need to maybe retreat a little bit and get my numbers up. But the attack sort of snowballs here, and I'm not the most well organized attack. I kind of just went with a swarm of bees technique here. Just sent all the Murmillo, just queued up a whole bunch of Murmillos and sent them in, and so now I'm at pop max. So that means it's going pretty well. But anyway, now you can see why I sort of wanted to remake this as a manual takedown of the enemy, and it was a pretty substantial attack. In real time, it looks a lot worse than it did sped up like this, and it was a little bit of a pain, especially as you plop down a palace or a building or something and it gets destroyed before it can transplant over there. It gets pretty frustrating. So I'm using that my Pegasus relic to scout around a little bit, and from this area you can sort of get up on that cliff there to overlook the next enemy area. All the while I'm destroying that temple to get the transport one of our temples up there, and for the objective, of course. And I've yet to figure out a way to get a villager into the next area where I just took out that town center. I thought of every which way, garrisoning villagers inside buildings and transplanting them. It doesn't seem to work. So I guess there's no way to get that additional town center, which would be pretty nice for the extra population. But so here I'm being kind of cute and transplanting all my towers over here, and I have a whole bunch of archers there to defend. So I'll make my push through here. And I think I ended up deleting most of the archers in favor of infantry once I can vortex them over. So I think I put a couple more towers up north a little bit of ways. Oh, I deleted all my Murmillos there. So I guess I'm doing something else here. I think I make more archers, and my archers can outrange that hill fort, so I actually go to take that out, which was pretty funny. And I habitually click around all my buildings and just look for upgrades, especially late in the game, just to make sure I have everything. So I went pretty heavily into archers there, just to take down some of those buildings, free up a little bit of space, kind of whittle away at them a little bit. And then I can start, I can bring more towers over here. And the archers serve to sort of keep them at bay over there. Put that tower up there. I think that survives because I'm able to defend it with my archers over the ridge line there. So I don't think those towers end up doing too much. They just kind of distract a little bit, take out a few guys, but why not? if it makes them spend resources and maybe they'll have a fewer guys when I finally go to attack, then it'll help. So I think I think I'm at my tower limit here, and I'm just transporting them around. And now I go for the kill here, and as soon as you put something down there, they immediately go after it. But that was sort of a something to get them into the area, so that way the towers could take them out. And I'm using all my archers to sort of to support them, and just palace after palace is going down over here. But maybe this one sticks. And here they come again, of course. And like I said, usually the rams are the biggest threat. Oh look, I got a destroyer out of that one. So now I'm trying to put down a tower. That didn't work. And I'm realizing these archers aren't really doing much for defense, so I'm just gonna make some destroyers and more Murmios, and once I get a building going, I can just vortex them all over there to defend and get the attack going. Defend and get the attack going. Yeah, defend the building I eventually put down there, and then that'll springboard the main attack, so to speak. So now I'm at pop max, getting a few more towers over here as a diversion, just because I know the fighting will move around. So, and then as soon as I put that building down, they activate, so to speak, and then I can vortex them in to defend the buildings I just put down. And I brought them in nice and close, so that way the fighting happens by the towers. And just making sure I got guys queued up, and you'd see a few guys running down by those forward towers I had. So that was a good move that'll help defend them. And population just plummeted down to I think it was 106 or something like that. And once I get a palace in there, I can get some destroyers going, and then whittle away at their buildings. And that's pretty much the last hurdle for the level. Once you take these guys down, they have a few buildings elsewhere towards the towards Odin's tower, but you don't really need to take them out. I don't think. I might a little bit in a bit, but I don't think you need to for the objective. I think if you just yeah, I guess all you have to do is take down the temple, and then transport one of yours over. Yeah, so I go over that, go after that hill fort over there, and I'm surprised. You can see lightning striking in the area of the tower. I'm surprised none of them hit my guys. Actually, they might have. I'm not sure. So I brought my temple over there. Now the storm has stopped. Bring caster nearby, and you can actually use the vortex power to bring them up by the tower there. But you don't really need to. You just have to get close to complete the objective. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Gave you an idea for the brute force method of beating this level. It's a lot of fun. I really like one of my favorite levels in the Titans campaign. A really good challenge if you're really into it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.